Letoya Luckett tells the story of having to sleep in her car after leaving Destiny's Child.
Hi,
Hi,
beautiful.
Letoya.
How you doing?
I'm fine. Oh my God, how are you?
I'm good. This is a cute
Oh,
little dress. What is this?
it's just a top. It's really a top.
Oh, girl, I can't wait to fit
Thank
into something like that
you.
again.
Oh my
Yes.
God. Hi. I'm such a fan. I'm a
Thank
huge
you.
fan.
I appreciate
Yes.
that.
I'm a
Thank
huge
you.
fan, and I want to echo what everyone else has been saying about your spirit. You have always been a beautiful
Thank
person
you.
and a beautiful spirit, and I love and appreciate you for that. So
Thank
thank you.
you.
Yeah.
Thank you. God
Yes, you're
bless
welcome.
you. Y'all are not going to have me crying on here today. Not today. No, indeed. So I saw your question, and
Yeah.
a lot of people ask me that question.
Yeah.
So I go ahead on and ask your question for those that didn't get to see it, and then I'll answer.
Yeah. So my question was, so you had touched on purpose when you just came on and you were talking to us about, how do we know if we should stay in this job or pursue our purpose? And so for me personally, I tried my hand at entrepreneurship a couple of times
Mm-hmm.
and it really didn't work out. And
Mm,
so I had to go back into corporate America, and which
okay.
is a blessing. I am employed and I'm still working, especially during COVID time. So I'm thankful for that.
Amen.
But yeah, amen to that. But I find myself saying, is this it for me? Like, is this the last stop? So how did you continue pursuing your purpose even after the disappointment of DC?
I will say this, and I'm not gonna lie to you.
Yeah,
After DC, I didn't know what I wanted to do.
yeah.
Of course, at that time, I was about 18 years old.
Hmm.
So, and I hadn't lived my life as a normal teenager. I
Yeah,
hadn't gone to college. I hadn't done, all the things that a normal teenager would do.
right.
So all I knew was DC. All I knew
Yeah,
was the group at that time. And
right.
even coming out of that, I wasn't the most secure person because I
Mm,
had been so used to having a team mentality. To think
mm,
of being solo anything or going out on my own was very, very
yeah,
scary, like terrifying. Not even, it was terrifying.
yeah. Mm,
And I found myself, even when the thought of singing made me angry. I
yeah,
didn't believe I had a voice. I didn't believe
yeah.
I could sing. I didn't
Mm,
believe that I would ever return to the music industry.
mm,
But make a long story short, after surrendering
mm.
and getting to know God on a whole nother level, and I know I'm about to go spiritual, but
No, that's
like
fine. Yeah.
honestly, after really learning or building a relationship, a real honest relationship with God, I learned to surrender, get out of my own way, stop
Mm,
living in fear, and allow Him to direct my path
right.
and give all of my fears, my cares, or whatever I was concerned about over to Him in that moment. And I
Yeah.
also asked Him, I was like, listen, I want to be aligned with you.
Mm,
I know I have my wants and my needs, what I desire, what I don't desire, because I honestly didn't desire to sing or to be in the entertainment industry at all. I wanted to go work at Contempo Fashions or Westfield or somewhere in the mall where it's super duper simple and I ain't got to worry about all this other stuff. You know what I'm
yeah.
saying? And God had different plans for me. He
Mm,
made me jump off the high dive and do
mm,
the thing I didn't want to do,
right.
but it was the thing that I was called to do.
Mm.
And because I had already gone through what I'd gone through with DC, I now had a testimony.
Ah, yeah, yeah, that part.
So it was for no reason. This didn't happen for no reason. And who's to
Mm,
say, had I stayed a part of the group, which I'm still a huge fan of, that
right.
I would be, I still would probably have that mentality in almost approaching 40, that I couldn't stand on my own, that I couldn't
Mm,
do this or I couldn't do that, that I couldn't be a solo artist, that I couldn't be an actress. Even with becoming an actress, I didn't plan on doing that. I didn't
yeah.
know how to do that. I literally had to get out of my own way and allow God to step in and do what He needed to do in my life.
Amen.
And it didn't come when I wanted it to.
Mm,
I feel like He had to put me, as Cora said, on pause for a little bit so that He could build me and
mm,
give me the strength that I needed to carry out my purpose.
yeah.
I even believe sometimes that God allowed me to continue in this industry so I could have moments like this with you guys, so that I could use my platform to share my testimony, to encourage people, to answer questions like you just asked me. How did I keep going?
Right.
I sometimes feel like that's why he took me through all of that. Because I'm going to tell you, baby, I was backstage having a fit. When I was about to go on stage by myself, nobody else, I was back there clowning, crying, having to get my Rebecca redone 35 times because I seriously did not believe I could do it on my own. So, yes, you might be in corporate America again. But even during this pause, we'll call it a pause, on your desires, it doesn't mean that God isn't still moving for you.
Amen.
It means that he's still positioning you. He's still getting you ready so that you will succeed in your purpose, I feel, hopefully.
Right.
So that you will be ready. You will have all the tools that you will need while he continues to provide you everything that you need for that moment. So when it's time to press go on whatever that business desire, whatever that thing is, you'll be ready. Won't be no time, you won't be looking for nothing because it'll all be right there in front of you.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And just because you're on our little pause right now does not mean you're not living and walking in your purpose if you're being obedient.
Amen.
And you have to ask yourself that. Are you
Right.
being obedient right now?
Right.
That's the things you got to go to God about. Like, because here you could be putting yourself back in corporate America because it's safe right now.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because the lights need to be on, sis.
Exactly.
And the car needs the gas.
Exactly. That's the bottom line. I mean, that's the bottom line, really. Yeah, that's what it is. So
is it because you want to feel safe? Because I'm gonna tell you, during my journey, I was staying at people's houses. I've never said anything. I've never told these stories before. I slept in a car in LA.
Wow.
While I was making my first album. Not a lot of nights, but a few.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Water jug, gallon of water. When I was staying in hotels, couldn't really afford anything else. So I was like drinking a gallon of water and buying the microwavable oodles and noodles. And I was like cooking them on the coffee pot in the hotel. I can't believe I'm crying.
Oh my God.
And then I went out for a role, my first role ever, which was Preacher's Kid. And I got it.
Wow.
And that's what got me out of that hotel. And from Preacher's Kid, God aligned it that I met Tank, went back, started doing my second album. Yeah, it was a lot.
Wow.
But I was uncomfortable for a minute.
Wow. I had no idea. Thank you for sharing that, Letoya, because
Yeah.
I had a car moment myself, which no one knew about either, but I had no idea. That helped me tremendously.
Yeah.
Because seeing where you are right now, who
Yeah.
would have thought? Like, who would have thought that you had to go through that? Wow. Thank you.
And I did not share with nobody until like this moment, but I'm glad I did.
Yeah.
Like, it was straight up me and God. That was it.
Mm-hmm.
It was me and God, period. And you have to be willing to just sometimes take a step back and be okay with being uncomfortable. You have to. Yeah. So I think you should really, although you're in corporate America, which that might be where God has you, for real.
Right.
But just make sure and really get peace with where you are.
Yeah.
Ask him, is this what you want me to do? Is this where you, and he'll talk to you. He'll give you a sign. He will. And then things will just start to flow. So I'm sorry, I'm an emotional basket case.
No,
Where's my powder?
Oh my God. Thank you.
Yeah, look. That's so you wanted to know?
Yes.
That's the answer.
Thanks for tuning in to 9 Mag TV.